very good evening to you and welcome to Primetime News live from the News First studios in Colombo. I'm Nadim Majid.
A very good evening. I'm Mahina Bongzo. At least 15 people are reported to have been killed and more than 60 others are reported to be wounded after police and Islamist protesters clash in the Bangladesh capital Dhaka.
Now the News First International desk has more on this story, but first we take a look at tonight's headlines. Over 22,000 affected, while 2,088 displaced in Gampaha due to inclement weather. Duminda Silva appears before court for the first time in connection with the murder of Bharata Lakshman Premachandra. Asian Human Rights Commission condemns the arrest of Azad Sali.
Parliamentarian Duminda Silva, the 11th suspect in the killing of Bharata Lakshman Premachandra and 3 others, appeared in court for the first time today. Silva appeared before Colombo Additional Magistrate Priyantha Leyanage today after being granted bail last week by the Colombo High Court.
Court convened today to consider the return of a suspect currently in remand custody to remand custody after 14 days. Representing Duminda Silva in court today, President's Counsel Hemantha Warnakulasuriya submitted an 11-page report on the injuries sustained by Duminda Silva during the incident which occurred in October 2011, including photographs of the MP. Warnakulasuriya charged that certain factions are spreading false rumours, holding court in contempt to sabotage the political career of his client. Warnakulasuriya added that while his client was not injured by these false statements, it is also being said that he was taken to Singapore to prevent him from being drawn into the matter and to prevent him from being placed in remand custody. After hearing the submissions made by Silva's legal counsel, the additional magistrate said hearings would reconvene on the 8th of May.
මගේ ජීවිතේ අද ඉතාම මං කම්පාවට හා සංවේගයට පත් වෙච්ච දවසක්.
Today is one of the saddest and most shocking days of my life. The group that murdered my husband in broad daylight and their leader came before me today. I ask every wife in this country to put themselves in my shoes for a moment and think about the kind of thoughts that must be going through my mind today. Even today, I hope that we will receive justice from the courts. There is still no one in this world who can influence the gods. Therefore, I think that at least the gods will give us justice and that the truth will win.
On to more local news, the former Deputy Mayor of Colombo, Azad Sali, has been readmitted to hospital. This was confirmed to News First by a spokesperson attached to the Colombo National Hospital. Meanwhile, the Asian Human Rights Commission categorically condemns the arrest of former Deputy Mayor of Colombo, Azad Sali.
According to a communique issued by the Asian Human Rights Commission, the use of the Prevention of Terrorism Act purely for political purpose indicates the extremely serious threats that exist in Sri Lanka against personal freedom and the rule of law. The release adds that the Constitution itself requires that at the point of arrest, the person arrested should be clearly informed as to the crime he is suspected of. Meanwhile, writing a letter to the President, the All Ceylon Jamiatul Ulema appeals from the head of state to direct the reasons for the arrest of Azad Sali be reviewed. The letter urges the President to release Azad Sali on medical grounds. According to the police, Azad Sali was arrested under Clause 120 of the Penal Code and under Clause 2 Part 1 of the Prevention of Terrorism Act. Police media spokesperson SP Buddhika Siriwardana noted that the charges include making statements that create disunity among different ethnic groups and making statements that incite feelings against the Sri Lankan government.
Leader of the Democratic Party, Sarath Fonseca, says the country can benefit only through a change in the existing political culture. He made this comment during a public rally in Kurunegala.
The rally organised by the Democratic Party was held in the Vilbava area in Kurunegala yesterday under the auspices of party leader Sarath Fonseca. The Prime Minister of England travels by train to work. His wife too travels by train to work. Once she was fined £1,000 for travelling in the train without a ticket. If one of the royal family was fined, the entire railways department would be shut down and they would have removed the railway tracks as well. This is the situation in our country today. The preferential voting system has allowed drug dealers, thugs and murderers to enter parliament. Can you believe that our country has fallen to such a level?
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට යන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රමයක් හැදලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මේ වගේ තත්ත්වයකට අපේ රට වැටලා තියෙනවා. තමුන්නාන්සලට විශ්වාස කරන්න පුළුවන්ද?
Now, torrential rains have battered many parts of the country over the past few days. The brunt of the inclement weather was experienced in the Gampaha district. Now, I believe you have the latest reports and the statistics on the inclement weather conditions prevalent in the island.
That's right, Mahina. Now, several parts of Colombo have been inundated, and due to the heavy showers prevalent over the city, the police emergency hotline unit says that roads in Dehiwala, Walikada and Paliagoda are inundated as a result of the torrential rains. Now, the police have advised motorists to use alternative routes to reach their destinations. Now, meanwhile, according to the Disaster Management Centre, over 2,212 persons belonging to 479 families have been affected in Gampaha and Wattala. 331 individuals belonging to 81 families are currently seeking refuge at 4 relief camps. Our correspondents travelled to these areas to look into the situation.
Nearly 750 houses in Tudalla Jayala have been submerged for nearly 2 days due to the heavy rainfall.
TV stand are මොනවද බේරගත්තද?
When we stepped down from our beds at 3 a.m, we stepped into water. This has never happened before. This is mainly because the drainage system constructed along the highway is not up to standard. Low-lying areas in Duwa Watta Mabola, Wattala remain inundated, thereby affecting several houses located in the area. A number of houses have also been inundated due to the Kaluala overflowing in the Duwatta area in Mabola. This is because of the highway. The areas are clogged with sand. That is why the water does not recede. They closed up the canal because of the highway. We are glad that highways are being built as it is for the development of the country. However, this area was submerged because the canal is clogged. Heavy rains experienced over the past several days have caused floods in various parts of the island. When we visited the Gampaha district to look into the flooding, we saw that a bridge on the Danugama Rattutuwa road had been washed away. The floods were caused by the highway. All the sand and soil from it is washed away into the river, which then overflows. The Siduwa Nigambo main road was also submerged as a result of the rains that were experienced this morning. According to our correspondent, heavy traffic congestion was evident in the area. A bridge located on the Udamvita North Road near the Dadugamoya area on the Colombo-Nigambo main road collapsed today. The office of the police media spokesperson said that a van carrying school children had met with an accident while travelling on the bridge. The stretch of road between Nigambo and Mirigama was also submerged due to the incessant showers experienced in the area. I am in Nigambo, where as of this evening in the Mahahulupiti area, the Nigambo-Mirigama road was flooded. We also visited Jayala and Wattala, and in all these areas we could see that people have been affected by flooding.
මම නිවුස් ෆස්ට් යුනියන් ග්‍යාන උද්‍යෝග මේගමුව මීගම ප්‍රධාන මාර්ගයේ සිට.
Now, the inclement weather conditions prevalent in the island have severely affected the Gampaha district. Now, as you may have seen, area residents voiced similar views about the cause of the flooding in Gampaha. News First inquired about the issue from Project Minister in charge of Ports and Highways, Nirmala Kotalawala, and Minister Felix Pereira.
If any inconvenience was caused due to the Katunayaka Expressway, and if any canals in Jayala and surrounding areas were closed due to construction activities, we will take immediate steps to rectify the situation.
We have to clean the area which connects the Dadugama Oya and the Jayala Canal. This is a problem at hand. A long-term plan needs to be implemented.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, several roads in Colombo have been inundated. Earlier this evening, our correspondents travelled to various locations in and around Colombo as well to look into the situation brought on by the inclement weather.
A number of houses in the Kudabutgamu area in Kotikawata were submerged due to the rains experienced this morning.
Now, what caused this bout of torrential rain and what can we expect in the future? Let's take a quick look at what the Met Department had to say.
This rainy and showery conditions in the western parts, especially western province, Sabaragaon province and Golamatar districts, are due to the interlocal convergence zone, that is the zone meeting the air from the north and south, lies over Sri Lanka area, and associated with that, small disturbances are forming at the low level of the atmosphere in the vicinity of Sri Lanka. So this is we can call pre-southwest monsoon conditions. So because of that, the anytime southwestern parts, namely western province, Golamatar district, Sabaragaon province, and some parts of northwestern province will receive on and off rain or thunder showers. Any time of the day, and the other areas also will experience some rainy conditions or rain or thunder showers during the afternoon or evening. We have to expect as a whole these rainy conditions for about another 2 weeks or so.
Let's now take a look at the weather forecast for the next few days.
Well, thank you, Nadeem, for that comprehensive report and analysis. Now, moving on with more local stories, convening a media briefing today, Deputy Minister S.M. Chandrasena charged that it was former President Chandrika Bandaranayake Kumaratunga who violated the promise to abolish the executive presidency.
Now she is extremely anxious to abolish the executive presidency. For 12 years, she had no haste whatsoever to abolish the executive presidency, and she enjoyed all the privileges and all the benefits. Now she is saying something else. She will not be able to fool the people. If the executive presidency is not good, then she was there for 11 to 12 years and she could have abolished it during that time. She even made a promise to the Janatha Vimukti Peramuna, asking them for their support to abolish the executive presidency. This promise was first violated by the former president. However, on the face-to-face program telecast on our sister channel Sirius TV last night, the former president said that she did not receive the support of the opposition for a constitutional amendment.
We had as much discussions as possible with the opposition. I asked the opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe for assistance to join with us to resolve the ethnic problem and abolish the executive presidency. Throughout the 11 years, I made requests of him but received no assistance. At first he said they would discuss it for about a year and think about it. A parliamentary select committee was appointed. He said we could reach some conclusion in 6 months. It was dragged on for 30 months. We realized that this was a stalling tactic and put a stop to it. No resolution was reached. That same year, the presidential election was held. On the 29th of June, he shook hands with me and said that he would give his support. And then we all know the game that was played in Parliament on the 3rd of August. The draft constitution was set fire to. Fireballs were thrown at me. Profanity was used in Parliament. And after an hour and a half, we couldn't even put the constitution to a vote.